Okay, Daphne, go ahead and start us off with Proverbs chapter 16.
Remember, guys, I'm reading from King James, the old King James. And the subtopic is the Lord directs his steps. The preparations of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs your spirit. Commit your works unto the Lord, and your thoughts shall be established. The Lord had made all things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart devises his ways, but the Lord directs his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresses not in judgment. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All that weighs on the bag are his works. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaks right. The wrath of a king is a messenger of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather than be chosen than silver? The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keeps his ways preserved his soul.
Okay, thank you. Next, Susie.
Verse 18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before stumbling. It is better to be humble in spirit with the needy than to divide the spoils with the proud. One who pays attention to the word will find good, and blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. The wise in heart will be called understanding, and sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness. Understanding is a fountain of life to those who have it, but the discipline of fools is foolishness. The heart of the wise instructs his mouth and adds persuasiveness to his lips. The pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. There is a way which seems right to a person, but its end is the way of death. The worker's appetite works for him. Wait a minute. Hold on, you guys, I lost.
26, babe.
I lost me place.
26.
26.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Labor.
Appetite of
I
labor.
lost my
For him.
place.
He that labors,
Drives him on.
just for
Just a minute. Okay.
A scoundrel with
26.
evil, and his
Okay. I just lost my screen got messed up. Okay. A worker's appetite works for him, for his anger urges him on.
Hunger.
A worthless person digs up evil while his words are like scorching fire. A perverse person spreads strife, and a slanderer separates close friends. A person of violence entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. He who thinks his eyes, he who thinks winks his eyes, does so to devise perverse things. He who compresses his lips brings evil to pass. A gray head is a crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness. Hey, one who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and the one who rules his spirit than one who captures a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Amen.
That is powerful, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Amen.
know, this is so rich. This is, to me, one of the most richest chapters. And so chapter 16 of Proverbs is something that, we just read through. So now, which verse jumped out at you? And we read from the King James, and I think the other one was the New American Standard. So it gives us a lot to chew on when you're looking at two different translations. I have my multi-translation Bible with me, so we can chew on it even more with the different shades of meaning. But let's go for it. What in chapter 16 of Proverbs jumped out at you? And then we'll chew on it, meditate on it, and then have you guys, think about how to put this into practice.
Okay.
So Vanjie just arrived. Hello, Vanjie. And for those who just arrived, welcome aboard. And baby Catherine has her hand raised. Okay, baby Catherine, which one is it that jumped out?
Verse 3, Pastor Bert. Commit to the
Okay.
Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans.
Okay, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Now, that is from the NIV. In the old NIV, because the NIV has gone through some revisions. It actually says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. So just the whole idea that, this is, again, a proverb, right? General. Keep things in general perspective. Don't get too caught up in the specific things. But when you are walking with God, okay, whatever you're doing and whatever you're planning, right? How should you walk with God when you have all these ideas and plans, and you have these ideas of things you want to do? How should you go about doing those things when you're walking with God? So the attitude is to commit yourself. Commit those things to God. Commit it to the Lord. Let me see another translation with the multi-translation. The King James, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Commit thy works unto Jehovah, and thy purposes shall be established. Commit your business to the Lord, and your plans will prosper. So this angle takes a business perspective. Some people think, you can separate religion from your personal business. And the attitude here is, Why don't you include God in your business? Let God be part of your business. Okay? Commit your business to the Lord, and your plans, your business plans will prosper. Ever thought about that? That God can prosper your business plans? See, I never thought about that before because I lived my life apart from God all my life. Well, now that you're walking with God, you get a chance to include God into your business. And what are you going to do about your business and God? You're doing, God is your partner in business now. You need to look at it that way. Well, some of my business practices are pretty bad. Well, then you need to start asking God's help, right? On how to do business His way. So it's learning to do business God's way. See? Learning how to prosper God's way. Don't go overboard like some Christians go overboard and they think the reason why I'm a Christian is because I want to be prosperous. I want to be rich. That's why I'm a Christian. Don't have that. You're first a child of God, a Christian, a believer. And because of that, you're learning to do business God's way. That's all. Does it guarantee success? According to this, you'll do better than the usual. I mean, there is prosperity for you. Commit to the Lord. Let's see. Roll your work unto the Lord, and your plans will be achieved. Wow. Commit to the Lord all that you do, and your plans will be fulfilled. So we can look at it from the business perspective, but you can also look at it from every life decision you make. This is how to walk with God, right? God, I walk with you. I might as well include you in everything I do. And to me, because I'm not perfect, I include everything I do in when I do good, but when I'm doing something neither good or bad, or when I'm doing something bad, what do? I don't hide it from God. I just bring it to God and I let God help me through that times when I do bad, when I do evil. I include God in everything. I don't leave God out of anything in my life now. Okay, does that make sense, guys? With Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Bert.
Okay, it's setting the tone for your life. Include God in everything from whatever decisions you're making. Okay, next. Let's see who's next. I have Princess, your hand is raised. I thought I saw Daniel and Anna's hand raised too, but
Yeah,
Princess
they were the
first.
first one. They were
Who's
the
first?
then.
Okay, Daniel, Anna. Dana.
Yeah, Pastor Bert, I just wanted to, can we ask you a question about making a cross-reference for that 16:3, the saying of the wise. Can we make 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31 a reference for that? A cross-reference?
I already told you, you got to read it.
Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it for the glory of God.
It fits, sure.
Yeah.
Because again, you're including God in everything you're doing. Whether you're eating or drinking, that's a different context, but the principle applies. It has a fit because you're including everything from eating and drinking to making plans to doing business to whatever you're doing. Remember, you're a Christian now. And since you're going to be a believer for the next 50 years, right? You might as well learn to include God in every area of your life for the next 50 years. Don't push God out. No, God, you don't belong in this area of my life, this business of mine. I don't need God in this. God wants to be in every area of your life. Let him be involved in every area of your life. In the good areas of my life, I want God involved. How about the bad areas of my life? I want God involved in the good areas, the bad areas, good, bad, and ugly. I want God involved. You think God is going to say, I only want to be involved in the good areas of your life. Leave me out of the bad areas or the ugly areas. Leave me out of that. No, include God in everything. You know, it's a good thing, right? When you include God in everything, because when you think about it, he's everywhere. God is everywhere, people. He is spirit. His spirit is there with you everywhere you go. So don't even think about escaping or running away from God. Just include him, include him in everything. Well, how about the ugly areas of my life or the bad areas of my life? Yeah.
Right. Excuse me, Pastor
Talk
Bert.
to God
but
about
you
it.
know, some people think, oh, you can't add God. You can't just add God to everything. Yes, you can. People don't know the Lord that well.
What do they mean you can't add God to everything?
Oh, well,
Give me an example.
well, my daughter told me that you just got finished watching a scary movie. Now you're going to Bible study? I go, yes, I am. Why? There's no limits. Why can't I go?
Yeah. Okay. So when you think about that, the attitude is like, if you watch
A
a
scary movie.
scary movie, a bad movie,
Yeah.
you can't be with God after that.
Right.
Then when can I be with God?
Right.
What you're a 24-hour delay before you can be with God?
Right.
He's already there with you.
That's right.
So why do you have a heart that leaves God or leaves God out of it? No, leave God in it. Help, let God help you work things out.
Especially when you have those nightmares about that movie you just watched.
So I mean, that's, you can choose. You can say, okay, I'll follow your advice. I'll leave myself. I won't go to Bible study because I just watched a bad movie. Okay, how about the next day?
When you need a job,
you're always going to find a reason why you shouldn't go to Bible study. There's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be an obstacle. Who's winning in that battle? The devil or God? Right?
God. Right.
No, the devil is winning in that battle. He's just keeping you out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the point. Yeah. He keeps you out by making you feel like you can't do it because you did something. Right. No.
Yeah, he don't keep me out.
Yeah, I'll come as I am. God will work it out. We'll work all those.
That's what I told my daughter. I come as I am. Yeah. And I know, when my son tried to get a job, I say, pray to the good Lord about it. What? You can't pray to God. God ain't gonna get you no job. And yes, he did. He did. Sure.
Yeah. There are some Christians who have that attitude. Don't pray to God about the little things, only the major things.
Right.
And it's like, you're praying for parking space. And it's like, you know what? It says, pray about everything.
That's right.
You can pray about parking space. A friend of mine, he lost a tool. He prayed about finding that tool. Pray about everything. It doesn't say just pray about the major things in life. No, when you're walking with God, you can pray about anything you want because you're walking with God.
Right.
All right. I got Princess and then Ophelia. Go ahead.
The one that caught my eye is verse 30. Where are you? Whoever winks with their eye is plotting perversity. Whoever purses their lips is bent on evil.
Are you on chapter 16?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 16, verse 30. 30.
Oh, 30. I thought 13.
Yeah.
Okay. In verse 30, whoever winks with their eye is plotting perversity. Whoever purses his lips. A lot of Filipinos do that. That's a joke, right? They purse their lips. Where's the bathroom? They go,
it's true.
They go, They purse their lips. Okay, so that idea of whoever winks with their eye is plotting perversity. Whoever purses their lips is bent on evil. I this is a difficult one, but I start off with the thinking this must be cultural. There's got to be some cultural context here. There's got to be some customs and traditions that are, part of this, that, history, that must be taken into consideration. Like, wink, right? I'm winking. So if I'm winking, does that automatically mean I'm plotting perversity?
No,
Right?
but it could. I know what it means because my mom used to wink at me, and she was winking to say, "Susie, you're not supposed to do this right now. We're gonna do this later." Or there's something that she want me
Wink,
to know,
wink.
but don't want to tell me right now. Yeah, it's a secret, you
Yeah.
know.
Wink,
Yeah.
wink. Okay. So so when you consider the cultural and traditional and customs and historical perspective, there's got to be more to it than just on the surface. I'm winking and I'm plotting perversity. I'm pursing my lips and I'm bent on evil. There's got to be more to it. So the best I can come up with on this is to say that use your eyes and pay attention to what people are doing, because sometimes they give away what they're going to do if you pay attention to what they're doing. So that's what it tells me. It tells me to use your eyes to see the people around you and be aware of them. Be aware of what they're doing. And that's probably a good, proverb to just say, pay attention, look around, see what kind of, how they look at people, how they treat people, their eyes, they're winking, maybe you need to consider, what does that mean? Hey, that person is winking at another person. What are they planning? What are they thinking? Maybe it's to give you that awareness to pay attention to them. And that person is pursing his lips. What does that mean? Is he planning something evil? You need to be aware. I got $10,000 cash in my pocket, and I'm just having I went to the sports bar. I got $10,000 cash in my pocket, and I'm flashing my money around as I buy, drinks or appetizers and whatever. And the next thing you know, I'm looking around. There's people winking at each other and pursing their lips. Hey, maybe the scenario looks like these people could be planning something because I got lots of money in my pocket.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how you can process this proverb. But again, that's just wise saying. Be mindful. Any follow-up question, Princess?
No, I was thinking when I was reading this, so it goes back to the setting of before, the biblical time. So I was thinking,
The
how strict,
historical?
yeah, how strict they are with women and the men. So if the man winks at the woman, it means something else, or a man to a man, and then they look at the girl and they go like wink, wink, and then they go like this with their lips. I mean, that's an evil thought, right?
Well, that could be it. That could be,
Yeah.
part of remember, this is from a father to a son. Hey, son, pay attention. Pay attention to or don't be misunderstood if you think
Yeah,
you're just winking in an innocent way or pursing your lips. Hey, it means something to other people too.
yeah. Just be careful with your gesture. What if something is in your eyes and you keep on winking?
Yeah. I mean, so it's good to be mindful of that. People are looking at you, They could be, judging you, but you can also look at people and for your benefit, be mindful so that if they do evil, if they're planning something perverse, be ready to handle it, be ready to get away from it, avoid that, right? So if I had $10,000 cash in a restaurant bar and everybody's just hanging out, and then you see how people are reacting, maybe it's time for you to sneak out of there, things like that. The best we can do with this. Okay, who's next? Ophelia, go ahead. And again, you know how Proverbs are, guys. Just because we come up with an answer now, it doesn't mean if you chew on it further, you might receive additional insight, which then you can add to your knowledge. Okay, Ophelia, go ahead.
Number 28. This is NLT, New Living Translation. A troublemaker plants seeds of strife. Gossip separates the best of friends.
Yeah. That's pretty self-explanatory that a person, my version says, a perverse person stirs up conflict. Again, be mindful that somebody who is perverted or twisted in their way of thinking, they don't have any problem saying whatever they want to say to stir up conflict.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They like if I were to use an example, if I were to say, Ophelia, do you realize that I'm gonna try to see if I can find somebody. Do you realize Susie's been talking about you? She's saying all these bad things about you, Ophelia. Do you see how I, being a perverse person using my lips,
yes,
can cause now all of a sudden you look at Susie differently. All of a sudden you now have tension with her. You now look at her differently.
Don't do it.
See what I'm saying?
I was just thinking, you had me on mute. I was thinking, please don't say my name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, just for illustration. But
Yeah.
I wanted, I use your names, or I use you so it could hit home with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously it's just an illustration, so don't take it to heart.
Okay,
But,
can I read? My version says, a perverse person spreads strife, and the slanderer separates close friends. That means a
gossip
liar.
is in my translation. Yours is a slanderer. You know what a slanderer is?
A liar.
The one who lies about you.
Yeah.
mine
So,
is a
I am there to lie about you, to
Right.
make you have tension with
And
your
be the bad guy.
or with your friend. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or to just, get you into trouble.
oh
See, so what's the wisdom for us? Pay attention to how somebody talks about other people.
man.
When a person talks about other people, maybe they're just saying, I'm just being honest. But there is wisdom there for you to say, be careful what you say to a person who talks too much.
Right.
Because if they have no problem, telling you, about other people, they have no problem with that, then you have to make sure, I better be careful about what I say to this person. It's like, man, you know what? I'm dealing with this issue. So-and-so is really bothering me. I just want to let you know, boy, that person really irritates me. And, I just need somebody to talk to. That's not the person you should be talking to, because they can't you can't confide in them. That person will betray your trust. Because they take pride in telling people what they know. Look what I know. Let me tell you what I know. So wisdom is telling you step back and make sure you're careful about who you want to share private or personal things with, because you can't trust everybody. Yeah, but they're a Christian. So what?
Right.
Just because they're a Christian doesn't mean you can tell them every personal and secret private detail of your life, you know, because they might just tell everybody about it.
Right.
That's why, you know, as a pastor, I am taught or trained to, you know, take it in confidence. You know, there's like a confidentiality understanding that if you need to talk to a pastor, I am obligated to, you know, to keep it in confidence, unless I find out you're telling me that you're hurting somebody who's innocent. I got to turn you in. Or if you plan to destroy like a church building or a group of people, you know, I'm Pastor Bert, I'm gonna blow up this building. I need to tell you about it. It's like, I can't keep that in confidence, you know. I got to turn you in.
Yeah.
So, but you know, if you got some personal issues that you're dealing with, then yeah, I'm required to, you know, keep it in confidence and not blab it out to everybody. Fair enough?
Yes.
Fair enough. Good. Manny and then Sherry. Go ahead, Manny.
The man. Go for it, Manny.
Geez, I didn't think I was gonna get on.
Well, thank you for your patience.
You're on.
Miss Jean Martinez had a question that she put on the chat.
Oh, okay.
We want to do for us to
I see it. Verse 18.
yeah.
Okay, so this is a very common principle. Okay, it's a very common principle throughout the Bible, actually. But throughout Proverbs, there's a lot of verses that relate to this. Verse 18 says, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Haughty, if you have the same translation, haughty spirit is a very proud spirit, arrogant, right? Let me see how it says it in my multi-translation. Before destruction is pride, and before stumbling, a haughty spirit. Let's see. Before grievous injury, pride. Before a fall, haughtiness of spirit. Pride is before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. And there you go. Okay, so you see, you know how I like to use illustrations on this. So this is one of my favorite illustrations. So if you can see the whiteboard, okay, it looks something like this. If you're very proud, okay, it says if you're here with all this pride, destruction, you're gonna fall. You fall. I don't know why I'm having problems with my whiteboard. Okay, your fall. Disaster, injury. Okay, this is the way of the world. And God designed it this way. A person who's proud or arrogant or haughty, look at all the different kinds of words for the word pride. It's the kind of attitude where you look down on people. You think you're better than everybody. You like to give credit to your achievements. Let everybody see how much better you are than everybody else. That kind of attitude. You look down on them because they're so poor compared to how rich you are. If you continue in this life with that attitude, you will fall. It can be in education. Oh, look how much smarter I am than that person or than everybody. It could be in sports. It's a little complicated with sports because there's, it's not all pride, but it looks like it. I'm a better player than him. But again, that's more complicated. It can be in business. Look how successful I am. It could be in wealth. That kind of spiritual pride. I am so much more righteous than all of you. Look how righteous I am. See? So it can cover so many areas of life, when you're proud. And God says, when you are that way, and the world tells you, right? When you're this way, you're going to fall. You will be humbled. You will be brought to destruction. I used to have a lot of money. Now I lost all my money because I thought I was such a good businessman. Do you see that? I thought I was really, really better than you, and now look at me. I've been humbled. I've been brought low. See, so that's why you need to pay attention to the idea that you could be brought low. So when you're brought low, right? You're brought to your knees. You're brought low. When you find yourself brought low because of your pride, okay, this is the time to be humble. That's why verse 19 helps, because 19 says, better is to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoils with the proud. So being humble is very important. So what you need to do is what the Bible teaches: humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. So when you humble yourself, it says, when you humble yourself, what happens is God will lift you up. He lifts you up. He puts you in a place of honor. You realize if you humble yourself, that's why when you're about ready to be in a position, you're about ready to talk to people or be in a group, just remind yourself, I need to humble myself. To humble yourself, you need to treat people like they're better than you. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't play false humility, but just honestly treat them like they're better than you. Jesus says, if you want to be great in God's kingdom, you must be a servant of all. Just be a servant and treat people. Oh, you want to sit on this seat, the best seat in the house? I wanted to sit there. But you know what? You go ahead and sit there. I'll let you sit there. That kind of humility and humbleness, okay? It says God will honor you. Okay? God gives grace to the humble. Okay? So he gives you favor when you humble yourself. I talk about God oh Lord, I need to humble myself right now because I just, see myself getting too proud. Lord, I humble myself. To humble yourself is to lower yourself. I lower myself, treating you as if you're better than me. Why are you doing that? Because I'm trying to humble myself before the Lord. you know. I'm not trying to humble myself before man. I'm doing it before the Lord. And if I'm humbling myself before the Lord, I will humble myself before man as well, treating others as if they're better than me. And God will honor you for doing that. Okay? So when God honors you for doing that, then, hey, you're a really good person. People will start giving you compliments. They'll start, just putting you in a place where you feel so honored and respected by everybody. And when you get all these honors from people, right? What happens if you start letting it get to your head? You end up being proud. And when you're too proud because you're letting it get to your head, what's going to happen to you? You're going to fall. See? So this is a cycle. So what you want to do is when you receive honor, give God the glory. And when you're humble, stay humble before the Lord. But if you end up being proud, well, then just be ready for the fall. Now, God is gracious. He might let you slide. You've been proud, but he's letting it go. Catch yourself. Lord, I've been proud. I've been too arrogant. Lord, have mercy. Instead of God saying, Bert, you're going to have to get humble because you've been too proud lately. So I will humble you. And then when God humbles you, says, it hurts. If you've ever been humbled by God, it hurts. But I don't fight it. I don't go on this self-preservation mode and try to act like I'm not going to let myself get humbled. No, if it happens, just take it in. Understand that that's God's form of discipline and stay there as long as God wants you to stay there. Later, he'll eventually honor you. I hope that answers your question. Okay? That's a fun one, but that's one of my favorites.
Thank you, Pastor.
That is one of my favorites in learning the cycle of humility and pride.
Wow.
Actually, that question was from Jean,
That's a follow-up?
verse 18.
Oh, Jean says thanks. I guess she got it.
Yeah. I had one little question.
Okay, Maddie, and then Danielana, go ahead.
The puckering of the lips and the wink of the eye. In
Yeah,
Vedic
yeah.
City, we use that a lot to tell us, go over here. Oi.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Where's the bathroom?
Doon.
So that's a Tagalog or Filipino context.
Correct.
That's the way they point.
It drove my dad nuts when he was driving and mom would look the other way and she would do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a cultural context. So that's why when they say it here, don't put it to your Filipino context. You gotta say, I need to know more about what that meant during, those times of, those biblical times. Yeah. Okay, Danielana, go ahead.
Yeah, Pastor, I would like to just reinforce humility, like Philippians 2:3-8. Do nothing out of selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. Have this attitude in yourselves, which was also in Christ Jesus, who, although he existed in the form of God, did not regard equality with God a thing to be grasped, but emptied himself, taking the form of a bondservant and being made in the likeness of men, being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross. For this reason also, God exalted him and bestowed on him the name which is above every name, that in the name of Jesus every knee will bow, those who are in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is the Lord, for the glory of God the Father. You go, Pastor.
Yeah, that's right. See, so it's reinforced in that chapter 2 Philippians, where again, the encouragement when you're walking with God, you walk before God in a humble state, but in a healthy, humble state, right? No false humility. Just be honest with God. I think, if you're being humble, when you are being corrected or rebuked, that how you respond to that reveals if you're humble.
Amen, Pastor.
Because it's like, do you argue back? Do you try to defend yourself, or are you gracious about it? So yeah.
There's a saying, Pastor, if you want to like justify yourself, go there in the police station. And there you go. You know what I'm saying? You're not being humble, but if you're humble, you just accept correction, Pastor.
Sure. I think that's just a good test of your humility. When somebody rejects you, do you want to fight back? Do you want to, argue back? Or do you just take it in? And when you take it in a humble way, somebody says, man, you're so arrogant, you're so proud. Are you going to say, no, I'm not arrogant, I'm not proud? Or you just let him speak, and then you take it to God and you say, God, am I being arrogant and proud like he says? Because if I am, I don't want to be. But if he's lying, if he's wrong, then he's wrong. But I'm not fighting and saying, no, I'm not proud. How dare you call me that? Don't you realize I'm the most humble person here? See, so, sometimes that reveals whether you're really proud or not.
Amen, Pastor.
But God knows the truth. So, and remember, all men are liars. Think about that. All men are liars, and God knows the truth. Well, I'll rest I'll let God's hand rest on me, because he knows the truth about me. Nobody does. Only God knows the truth about me. Okay, Manny, you have your hand raised again, and we're going to have to wrap it up after this. Oh, Donna just joined us. Hello, Donna. Good to see many people here today. Okay, Manny, what's your thought about chapter 16 of Proverbs? Was there anything there that jumped out at you? This thing is so rich, isn't it?
Hey, Pastor Bert, I just want to acknowledge a friend. His name is Carol. And my daughter Anne too, from Melbourne, Australia, is joining us.
Oh, good. Welcome from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome aboard to our Bible Zoom study.
Maybe you can show yourself, Anne. Carol.
Welcome, Anne.
Okay.
And Sister Carol too. Can you show yourself?
We're supposed to
Carol
move
and
ourselves and pray for all things.
Okay.
Is it appropriate to, if you're in the bathroom and you have constipation, you're asking the Lord to help with that?
I think you know the answer, Manny.
I think it's an odd question, but
I think you know the answer.
I think you're right.
Because think about it. Have you ever had a illness, a physical illness? Have you ever dealt with pain?
Every day.
Different parts of your body. every area of your body. You know, it's like, I'm not going to talk to God about that. You know, when it says pray about everything.
Now you put it that way, yeah.
So yeah, don't let people put limits on what you can pray about. You have a personal relationship with God. And since you have that personal relationship, then you can pour out your heart to God and you can talk to God about everything under the sun. There's a verse that says, pour out your heart to him at all times, O people. Trust in him and pour out your heart to him. God is your refuge. He's the place of safety. He's the one you can truly confide in, say anything you want, because he is compassionate and sympathetic enough to know that beyond your words, he knows what you're feeling and thinking.
Amen.
And that's why you should have that freedom to say, God, I'm just going to pour out my heart to you. Just like Jesus' title is he's the wonderful counselor. He's your wonderful counselor. Go ahead and lie down on the couch and tell him everything that's in your heart. You can talk to a counselor about that, but you can't talk to God. No, you can talk to God about it. Talk to God about everything. Psalm 62 verse 8. Baby Catherine found that verse that says, trust in him at all times, O people, pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. Okay.
It's so quick.
She's getting good with her research skills.
Thanks.
Okay. That's about it. Man, Manny, do you know when you brought up verse 30 in my multi-translation Bible, there is about
I think it's Sister Princess.
7 to 10 verses. What was that?
I think it was Sister Princess who said it, verse 30.
Oh, yeah. So Princess brought it up, and then Manny had a more follow-up question. But let me just read to you the multi-translation. And Princess, I hope you hear it too. It says, first of all, it starts with the King James. He that shutteth his eyes to devise froward things, moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. A man of violence enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him in a way that is not good. So there's some violence connected to that, right? He that shutteth his eyes, wink, wink, it is to devise perverse things. He that compresseth his lips bringeth evil to pass. A man of violence seduces his friend and leads him in a way that is not good. When he shuts his eyes, he is devising perverseness. When he bites his lips, he has perfected mischief. A ruthless man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him in a way not good. Closing his eyes to devise perverse things, biting his lips, he hath plotted mischief. The knave misleads his neighbor and draws him into evil courses. The slanderer concocts a lie. The detractor has designs of mischief. A lawless man entices his neighbor and leads him into a way that is not good. He who shuts his eyes is hatching some crooked scheme. He who tightens his lips concocts some mischief. A man of violence draws others on and leads them into lawless ways. The man who narrows his eyes is disaffected at heart, and the closed-lipped man is bent on mischief. That's a lot, right? But
That's
you get the
correct.
gist of the story is like, you know, sometimes there's people who are plotting, you know, they could be plotting against you. Or they can have you include in the plot. And so, you know, be careful of people like that. Okay? On
It's
that note, we're done.
it's worse if you do a wink and the pursing of the lips at the same time, huh? It's worse.
That's double the trouble.
That's good. Double
Double
dipping.
jeopardy.
So there's, again, Proverbs is wisdom, so it's telling you, watch out for when you see that going on. And obviously, personally, don't let somebody draw you in to say, hey, let's jump that guy. He's got $10,000 cash. Come and come on, let's do this. That kind of talk. You better run away from that person.
Yep.
And if you can, warn the person who has the cash. That would be a thing, right? So there it is, guys. Who would like to close us? Prayer.
Pastor Bert?